It's rare that you find an actual smoking gun, but here we did. We heard that this factory in a small rural town in Illinois was poisoning its workers and the neighborhood around it. The company had told the EPA that it had filters on its roof, filters that were supposed to protect everyone. So, we flew a drone overhead. What we found was shocking. The filters were disconnected and the scrubber system had been dismantled. That exact situation matched what someone had sent us just days before, an image showing the scrubber system dismantled. This is the story of how one factory has treated its workers and its surrounding community. This is the story of Viscofan. Viscofan isn't a household name, but if you've ever had a hot dog, you've probably eaten their product. This Danville, Illinois plant makes sausage casings. It opened in the 1940s as TPAC, once one of the town's biggest employers. In 2006, it was acquired by Viscofan, a Spain-based multinational with factories around the globe, in Europe, China, Latin America, and tons of other places. Today, its Danville facility sprawls more than 2.4 million square feet, runs around the clock, and employs more than 300 people. For a shrinking and struggling town, it's an anchor. But it's also a threat, according to Hunter Brook's investigation. I didn't stumble onto Viscofan by accident. I grew up just north of Danville, and a friend from the area had told me about the smell, the strange smell. As I dug online, I kept finding more. Concerned residents taking to Facebook to vent out frustrations, complaints to foul air, polluted water, wave after wave of cancer. Over and over, the same name kept coming up: Viscofan. The numbers back up the fear. Between 2018 and 2022, Danville's main zip code recorded nearly 1,200 cases of cancer, an average rate of about 700 per 100,000 people. That's notably above the Illinois state average of about 550. And behind those numbers are people and stories, families grieving, workers sick, in a neighborhood that's been left scarred. While Hunter Brook can't say for certain that the elevated rates of cancer are caused by the chemicals released by Viscofan, many in Danville are convinced that's the case. And when you look at what Viscofan puts up into the air, those fears and those numbers begin to make sense. In the last 3 years, Viscofan has violated the Clean Air Act in 7 of 12 quarters. The plant emits carbon disulfide, hydrogen sulfide, ammonia, a whole alphabet soup of chemicals. None of them are particularly good. Take carbon disulfide. It's linked to heart disease, neurological damage, and reproductive harm. And what are the implications of working at the plant and handling these chemicals every single day?
It's a very scary place. Every day it seemed like it was going to be a gamble. Leaks everywhere in there, so it was constantly dripping caustic acid, salt on you.
Chemicals are always dripping on you. You're breathing gases in.
Your underwear is soaked, your shirt is soaked, and now your body just absorbs all that.
One time the roof actually fell in. They put a tarp over it, and people continued to work. They had a wall that actually was gone inside one department because of all salt that ate it up. If it's doing that to concrete and cinder blocks, what do you think it's doing to your actual body?
I can't begin to tell you how many people have gotten sick or are still sick because of that place.
Numerous people out there get cancer over the last few years. They always talk about it. If you made it out, you're going to die in 6 months.
Of the dozens of workers I spoke with, several said that they themselves are battling cancer or had just recently recovered. Based on their testimony, I put together a list of more than 20 former Viscofan workers facing a severe health condition that they didn't have before. The vast majority of these employees have been diagnosed with cancer, but there's also hints of cardiovascular trouble, breathing trouble, Parkinson's, and even pregnancy-related complications.
It would be good to just hear a little bit more about you if you want to introduce yourself, who you are.
I don't know. I'm sorry, this is serious. I'm Alan Johnson. I worked for TPAC for 43 and a half years, and glad to get out of there.
Alan Johnson worked at Viscofan long before it was actually Viscofan.
Hey!
And his health paid the price.
Parkinson's, 2 or 3 different kinds of dementia, which I didn't realize there was, and heart trouble because of the CS2 gas.
Did they ever warn you of what you were working with? Anything?
No. Never. The only thing they ever said was, it won't hurt you. If it will, we'll tell you about it. Well, I was dumb enough to believe them.
He described decades of worsening safety practices at TPAC and then Viscofan, from unchecked runoff into Lick Creek to the illegal burning of piles of chemicals.
But we all knew it was happening, and as a worker, you can't do anything about it. You just do the best you can do.
If Viscofan was such a big issue, why hadn't anything been done? Was it even on the radar of the Illinois EPA? I quickly learned it was, and it has been for years. Inspectors have documented repeated violations, from toxic air releases to uncontrolled runoff, and fined the company again and again. But in the last few months, that pattern has escalated into real legal jeopardy. In June of this year, the Illinois EPA warned Viscofan that it was preparing to take the company to court, citing the, quote, seriousness of its violations. Among the findings, more than 1,000 industrial waste totes left to rot on site, some leaking caustic solution straight into the ground for years.
They've got 2 lagoons back there that they don't take care of. So then the weather and the rain and all that stuff it goes into the ground. All that ground around that area is probably so contaminated, it's not even funny. People who live around that area are getting sick. Now, can I prove it? No.
What's your message to folks that live right near Viscofan, if you've got one for them?
Move. Move. Get away, because you're not safe.
Viscofan backs up on a densely populated neighborhood made up of a majority of people of color. It's also one of Danville's most economically vulnerable zones, with 64% of residents identifying as low income. While they all declined to appear on camera when Hunter Brook visited Danville, many residents described the odor coming in waves and feared what it could be doing to their health. The injustice of vulnerable people living in unhealthy conditions out of necessity is one that's common in America, and it's no surprise that most residents prefer to live far away from the Viscofan plant and its signature smell.
To me, there's not even a smell today. That's nuts, I know, because we're probably really used to it.
Sheena Morris works for her family business, a printing company a stone's throw from Viscofan.
My grandparents started it in 1969. I've kind of grown up in the shop. Viscofan, they've been there the whole time. My dad, he's the owner, and he's got like 3 different types of cancer so far. And then my fiance who worked here, he just passed September, this past September from cancer. It was really fast growing. We have an employee here that had breast cancer twice, and then one that has skin cancer. My grandmother passed from cancer. I know a lot more people that have it really at this point than that don't.
As I talked to locals, I couldn't help but wonder, why does Danville put up with Viscofan? But it's really no mystery. Danville needs Viscofan. Around 29,000 people live in Danville today, and that's down from a peak of 42,000 in 1971. 1 in 4 of those people lives below the poverty line. For better and for worse, Danville lives and dies by its manufacturing jobs, and Viscofan provides nearly 300 of them.
Some locals have just accepted as this reality.
Alex Severins created Vermilion County Watchdog, an online space for Danville residents to speak up about their concerns. Getting results is another matter.
The health department won't acknowledge it. If we lost Viscofan, that would be a big hit to our community.
Some former workers write on public threads on Facebook that the company gets advance notices when regulators are coming and then pays them off. One of those workers, Brandy Lake, told me her trainer made it clear during orientation: report only the good emission numbers and hide the bad. Viscofan's workers wanted the protection of a strong union, but that system has since broken down. In May of this year, the company told workers that it was dropping union recognition, and in the same letter promised new wages and benefits. Labor experts Hunter Brook talked to said it may violate federal law, and in September it even drew the attention of some members of Congress.
If there's an inference that you're promising them benefits to renounce support of the union, that's an unfair labor practice.
In recent weeks, the union has tried to raise awareness about issues inside the plant. And while there's glimmers of hope, workers and neighbors are still struggling to be heard. Hunter Brooks started this investigation to give those people a voice, and I think it's best that we leave you with their words.
And what's your message to workers that are still there?
Get out before you get hurt or sick. Whatever you think it's worth, it's not.
Yeah, it's too late for me now and for a whole bunch of people, but
They should fix whatever might be wrong and compensate those that have fallen ill because of that, you know, and apologize.
And final question for you. What's your message to Viscofan's leadership?
leadership? Leadership? You don't know them, do you?
Do better.
Viscofan declined to comment on any of the specific allegations. Instead, it simply insisted that it met strict local and international standards. If you or someone you know has experienced similar issues, we'd like to hear your story. Reach out at ideas@hunterbrook.com and check the description of this video for more information.